independent, by going along with the trend, by saying Nickelback sucks, by saying Aaron Lewis is a simp, by saying whatever the hell the new paraphrase is for morons out there. If that's what you're saying, then you're going along with the crowd. That's not being cool at all. In my view, being cool is being willing to be different. That's cool. I have 7,000 carbon copies of this. If you're willing to go against that a little bit, and you're a little bit of a trendsetter, right? This used to be more true of me, and it's honestly how I got kind of into the radio business. But I turned all of my friends onto bands back then. I was the first person in my friends group to hear Linkin Park. I was the first person. I remember going into my friend's house, like, dude, wait till you hear Naughty by Nature. And then sure enough, I was early to stuff as a kid. It's what drove me to this industry. And then I got here and realized this industry has nothing to do with any of that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, there's a whole different system when you get in here. But that was kind of true of me back in the day. That to me is cool. If you turn me on to something I didn't know, a movie, some songs, some pop culture stuff, and then you're cool. Just wearing the right shoes to me isn't cool, but that's because I'm old. 8 a.m., what Americans are craving now more than ever. This should be obvious. We went out of our way to take it out of our lives. We have proudly talked about how we have taken it out of our lives, and now all of a sudden we want it. We'll get to what that is at 8 a.m. What we've been talking about is whether or not you're still cool. 5,000 people were surveyed, and a lot of them said, yeah, man, I'm completely out of touch now. Most people feel as if you get out of older than them. And one of the strongest memories I have about David is this. We were in my parents' house. He was already living somewhere else. I was a teenager, right? And I was running back and forth between my bedroom and the basement trying to find the right stuff to put together to wear. And my brother once said to me, he's like, this is so funny to me. He goes, one day you're just not going to care about this at all anymore. You won't care about the shoes you have. You won't care about the jeans you have. You won't care about that kind of stuff as much as you do now. Whatever. And back then we were calling nerds buddies. That was like a thing for like a year and a half. And I remember, dude, I called him that. He got up and he punched me. Because again, David's 7 years older than I am. But he ended up being right. I mean, think about, you don't care. I mean, honestly, I know I make fun of the people in Walmart all the time with the sweatpants on and all that stuff, but like, the older you get, the less you do care about clothing, being trendy. Now, why is that? You still care. You would like to look cool. You would. But instead, what you do is you spend that money so your kids can look cool while they're walking down the hallway in high school. That's what parents do. You take a back seat to your children, right? That's why you can normally when somebody doesn't have kids, It's like, bro, you have $300 shoes? Since when? Right? Like, that's kind of one of those types of things. We were just, as a matter of fact, we were talking shoes the other day because Sebastian Maniscalco said, he's like, there's an age range where it's like you need to stop wearing Jordans. On that pod, it was him and Rich Eisen. They kind of came up with 35 as that age. And I said, look, I don't want to be judgmental about it, but I don't think I'm going to look right putting a pair of Jordans on. A pair of Dunk Lows, something like that. Okay, fair, but like actual basketball Jordans, like, what am I doing? That's not, I shouldn't be doing it, right? Apparently, when it comes to modern slang, that's where people truly feel confident in being up to date. 60% said, no, I'm up to date on the current slang. I'm going to guess here that this is also a byproduct of children. As you're hearing kids running through your house saying the thing, you're checking their phone and they're, texting this or whatever, or you're just, what, I better be up on this. Let me get to TikTok. Let me get to the YouTube. Let me figure out. I need to know what the hell it is my kids are saying, right? So that's true. People talk younger than ever. Snoop did this to the country. Once he started to izzle everything, we all started talking younger. We all just started talking. That became a thing. And that's, I feel like grown. I know it wasn't solely Snoop, but like I feel like a lot to do with it.
The rapping.
For sure. Keeping up with slang can be difficult. I remember the first time I started to hear cap for lie, and I didn't understand it. I still don't understand why that's the word for that. Like, I still don't get that. And I didn't understand the changing of the word. Cap is CAP. That would be the 3 letters there. And lie is LIE. And wait for it, guys. That is just the 3 letters there. So, like, I don't know what we were. I don't know what were we trying to accomplish with cap and no cap and cap and no cap. Like, what the hell were we trying to do?
Why I saw the Baltic?
I can't do that. I caught myself saying mid not that long ago. I said it on the air the other day. I was like, let me float this. Let me see if I can still get away with this. Right. And I did it. And when I went back and listened to the podcast, I was like, ooh, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Another term that people consider to be cool these days, modern
that's
slang.
where we passed by there.
A word I don't really like. This is what's crazy.
Okay.
I don't mind the word cringy. I don't like the word cringe. Oh, that's cringe. That's cringe. Not saying the word cringy and making it cringe is cringe. Back in the day, we would have called it awkward. And that would have been fine. And I'm still okay with awkward. I'm okay with that one. Cringy works better in my mind, or that's how I hear it better there. When I feel like when I say mid or cringe, I'm like, all right, get the walker out. Like, get the walker out. It's over. It's absolutely over. This is where you feel in touch.
Oh, that's open.
This is insane, this list. Number 5 is tech. 49% of people said, oh no, I'm in touch with that. You're out of your mind. Out of your mind. Do you know how to stitch a video on TikTok and Instagram? Do you know how to do that? If you don't, then you're not up to date on tech. That's what I think. That's one of the biggest things that's happening out there in socials right now. It's funny that they use the word stitching because it's actually taken from another word. Stealing is essentially what that is. You are stealing somebody else's intellectual property and passing it out as your own. But okay, whatever. This is the other areas where Americans feel in touch. Tech was 5. Movies was number 4. That I could believe. People watch everything. I could totally believe. Social media, that's people want to believe that they're in touch with that. Even if you use it every day, the amount of things you don't know about social media, the amount of things you see in feeds where you're like, why are they doing that? What's that? What's that? Do we still hashtag or not? I don't know. And like I don't know if I buy that. Music was the number 2 option. And I would like for that to be true. I have always said people who show you new music are very important. Somebody who introduces you to something you didn't know before that you like a lot, that's an important person in your life. Keep them around. Much like I feel like going to see live music can absolutely be important. It can keep you young. Food, the number 1 area where people feel like they're in touch with what's going on. Yeah, I can tell by the size of us. Not you, size of us. This is where Americans feel out of touch. Number 5 was literature. Well, I feel like if you still think people are reading literature, then you are out of touch. Fashion was number 4. People feel out of touch there. The arts would be number 3. Yeah, I don't know a lot of museum goers. That would probably be true. Celebs is coming in at number 2, and that's not your fault. That's what's happening. I've been saying this for about a decade, and I'm right about it. That celebrity is becoming less and less important by the day. We have too many of them now. YouTubers are bigger than the biggest movie star, and yet nobody on your street knows who they are. Mr. Beast is more powerful and more popular than most people that are in movies. So many people just heard that guy's name for the first time right now out of my mouth. Celebrity is a mile wide, inch deep right now. It doesn't mean anything. We have too many. And so I don't think it's that people don't care about popular things. I think it's we have forced too many popular people down each other's throats. Like, that's become a thing. Like, back in the day, you could keep track of the celebrities because there was 50 of them. Now there's 5,000. And of course, most people don't know their names. Number 1 area where people feel as if they are out of touch, and this would of course be true, it is the slang. Like, I bet as we're using the word cool, most kids today probably wouldn't even use that word.
Turn left.
Right?
Turn left.
It is interesting how that word's kind of stuck around.
That's how you get the
like,
Baltic.
groovy never really made the comeback. Even in the 90s, when the 70s was all the way back with Dazed and Confused and some of the clothing and all that. I remember my dad rolling his eyes at us. He's like, you guys just look like 70s teenagers. And he was right, because that's how it goes. It goes cyclical like that. But the word groovy never really came back. It just didn't do that. Cool's kind of been that word from the moment it was created till now. It's well, wait for it. It's a turn of cool. 9 a.m., let's rock the bank together. I'll pass out that first $1,000 keyword. Also, I think I have what is going to be Song of the Summer. New Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen for New Tour Tuesday. That will start at 9 o'clock as well. All right, I got tagged in something quite a bit the other day. And I'm appreciative of that. I don't see everything, obviously, right? And so I like when you guys are like, hey, man, did you see this? I kind of like to get your opinion on this. What do you think of this? Right? I love all that. And you can text in at 330-450-7625, and the social medias are these things. And so a lot of people ask me my opinion on this piece of audio from Vanilla Ice, of all people, who I have been lucky enough to meet quickly one time in life. He could not have been a nicer guy. He was so nice. Good dude. And he is talking here about politics and how people have become too obsessed with it while not getting enough back out of it. And I have made similar points, and I'm guessing that's why so many people had tagged me in this and sent me this and asked me my opinion on it. So here's what Vanilla Ice had to say about the politics.
First of all, I don't vote. I don't care about politics. Never have. Never registered. Have no opinion about anything. I have fans on both sides of all that, and I would never alienate them.
That's the Republicans buy shoes too line, which back in the day, I believe would be perceived as he's just being smart about his business. Let's not necessarily alienate. Let's not do that. Let's not try to separate my audience into two different groups. I think too many people in my industry have gotten way obsessed with that. But today, I think a lot of people would tell you, no, that's you running scared, that's you being a coward. Our democracy is at threat here. We don't want people sitting the fence, right? I just think how we view these things is very different now.
And I just look at it like, you guys get caught up in that mess. You go sit in your voting line. They don't pay you.
This is Vanilla Ice. He keeps making the argument that they don't pay you to vote. No, but depending on who we vote in can depict how much I am being charged for things. I know once upon a time I heard about that. So that's a little interesting. But, he continues, Vanilla Ice does.
They don't pay you to go form an opinion about that guy or this guy. But yet you fall victim to all of it, right? Like, turn the news channel off. Go to Florida. This is why it exists. We have palm trees and pina coladas.
Now, he's from Florida.
News channel going, I don't like Trump. I don't like what's going on in my life. You're 50-something, right? Like me. 50. So we've lived through dozens